Hey guys, Magus here, and it's been a long time, and boy, it's been a long time since I promised this video. Now, what I'm going to say at the end, I had originally planned for last winter, sort of my Magus comeback finally, but we'll talk about that with what I have to say at the end of the video. The last part, the epilogue to this review. But this has been a long time coming. A lot of it has to do with editing software issues, some personal issues, health issues, that type of thing. But I finally got this motherfucker going, and we are finally here with my review of the Portopia serial murder case. And this game is so fucking important to the history of video games and Japanese games and just video games in general, because without this influential game, we wouldn't get a lot of stuff. Now, my reason for doing this especially has been, I guess, reinforced recently by looking at reviews of this game. Quite frankly, in my opinion, there's not really good reviews of this. I'm sorry, I'm shitting on someone. Well, I am shitting on someone because the reviews that I've seen, the two ones shown, are basically one where this guy just rambles on and he just gives a summary of the story. He spoils the fucking story, which I don't want to do here. I want you guys to play this motherfucking game and do this. And by the way, this has always been a pet peeve of mine. I think I've talked about this even back in the old Magus days. I don't know what it is with people, but why do they not understand there is a difference between summary and review? I mean, give me a fucking break. I mean, a summary, you're summarizing stuff. That's what that guy does. He summarizes this whole game. It's not a review. And this says it's too archaic without giving any details of how it's archaic. And another guy in his description says that this game inspired Yuji Horii. Inspired. No, motherfucker. He created this game. Yes, it pushed him to create other mystery games and, of course, Dragon Quest. But fuck's sakes. He fucking created this game. Don't say it inspired him. Say Yuji Horii created it, and then say, oh, it inspired Hideo Kojima, who went on to create Metal Gear, and of course his own visual novels, Snatcher and fucking Police Knots. For fuck's sakes, get it fucking right. Holy shit. Okay, I'm done with that. Mini Magus rant right there. But let's talk about Portopia. Now, as you can see, I'm clearly using an emulator. Yeah, you can see file game option tools. Next time I'll make sure it's full screen so you guys can get the illusion maybe I'm using something real, which I'm not. I'm poor, so I'm a poor Mexican guy. But as you can see, I am using an emulator. Now, the Portopia serial murder case was created by Yuji Horii. It is his second game. I believe he did a tennis game prior to that, which, we won't even really mention, just that he did a fucking tennis. I was going to say Tetris game. Fuck, we're not in fucking Russia in 85 yet, are we? We are in 1985, though, with the port I am playing, however. And the port I am playing is the Famicom port. Now, the original version of the game came out for the NEC PC 6001 in June of 83, and there was an MSX port that came out earlier in, I believe, June of 85, whereas this Famicom version came out in November. Now, the big key difference, of course, between those versions, because I've looked at the NEC PC, whatever, 6001 version, is that you have to type in commands. And I think in that particular aspect, the game is more, how can I say it? It's more cryptic, because you have to print, you have to type, you have to do that type of shit. And you got to figure out, what commands you can and can do. Whereas the Famicom version, I found much more intuitive. Obviously, if you look at the right here, you see all your actions: move, ask, hit. Gives you options of where to move, that type of stuff. Whereas you have to type in the commands. Maybe there was a key card with the game that came out that gave you the commands you could go, but this is as cryptic as you could get, like, say, Zork or goddamn Colossal Cave Adventure or any of those old text-based games. Regardless, though, what I will say about this game is that it is pretty solid. I know a lot of people go to archaic, but I didn't find it overly difficult. You really just got to pay attention to what's going on. Like right now, we're now in Toshi's apartment. I remember this particular sequence in the game where you kind of have to investigate everything. When I was making this video, one of the long parts, particularly this winter, was I had to play the game at least 3 or 4 times before I came to a gameplay where it was just smooth. Now, I have a complete gameplay. I don't know if I'm going to release that like I did with Darius, just because I don't want this game overly spoiled for people, because the story it tells and the plot twist it has is fucking amazing. Now, it's not the deepest story. I mean, this is no Xenogears. This is no Baldur's Gate 2 or Planescape or, you know, anything like that, you know, but it is got it for the time, I would imagine, particularly 83, 85. The time of the video of the game, the story would be fucking amazing, just hands down amazing. I mean, come on, give me a fucking break, you know. I mean, back then this would be mind blowing, and it was mind blowing. It gave Yuji Horii a career. Now, what's funny is a couple weeks ago I played through Dragon Quest, and this was probably, you know, the most interesting time I played it, because I played the game before several times, even more so than my first, because what I took away from this was Portopia was still somewhat fresh from last winter, but what I was able to pick up from the original Dragon Quest, being that, you know, it's not a party-based game, it's a single-player-based game. You're pretty much on your own. A lot of the elements of Portopia radiate through it. I mean, it's an RPG, we get it, there's the elements, equipment, that type of stuff. But what's interesting is how some of the quests play out. It is... There's no really cutscenes or anything to guide you. You just talk to people and you figure out the mysteries on its own, you know? It's kind of like, for example, the princess. You can rescue the princess if you have the keys. If you get the keys, but then the dragon may be more powerful. Or getting the items to make the rainbow bridge. There's no cutscenes for that, but it's sort of like in this game where you kind of gather the things. This game has story as reward in a sense, but the story is a fluid element, you know, whereas something like, later on when, you know, the first time a game caught my attention with the story was Ninja Gaiden, obviously, as a kid, and with that, you were rewarded with cutscenes, whereas the cutscenes you're part of. Does that? I don't know if that makes sense. Your decisions fluidly make the story, whereas you're rewarded with story. Now, I'm not saying you're not rewarded, but as you're given more story, you have to come up more clues. Also, the finale of this game, basically, there is an end game of this. There is a maze you wander through. And obviously, you could tell that they were playing a lot of those old school, you know, games like Black Onyx. I don't even know if Bullet Software had released Black Onyx at that point in 84. I think Black Onyx was 84 by Bullet Software. But more like Wizardry. I will say Wizardry to be correct, because I know Wizardry is very popular in Japan, and they have these wizardry-like mazes, and that's kind of like the big climax. It's not a fight, but it's this, you go through this maze. And I felt that element, while didn't quite fit in, it was a good climax to the game. You know, it was kind of like, you know, you get the final boss battle. It was really good. Again, this game requires a lot of patience. There's elements of it that you can tell archaic. You kind of have to experiment. I mean, you have so many fucking actions, too, like move, ask, look. You know, you have to approach different people's different ways before you approach them the right way, you know. You also go into dead ends where you think you got the killer, but your partner is pushing you, and there's a reason for that, which I don't want to spoil. But to close the case, obviously. But I will say this. I had fun with this game. And I think this is, if you really want to look at it, it's worth looking. I don't think it's aged terribly bad. I had fun with it. I feel like with Dragon Quest also, that didn't age bad. And I could really appreciate this. I mean, it really enhanced my appreciation for Dragon Quest. So, there you go. So, with that, guys, Magus out. Wait a second. Magus isn't quite out. Stay tuned for a very, very special message. Very special message. Alright, with the review done, let's talk about what is the future of the MagusX1 channel. Ever since I quit in 2010, the history has been bumpy. I really wanted to revive my channel. The earliest time I recall was 2012, and I really felt I was on the wavelength to do that, but there was the Mr. Anime incident, which I won't even go into, that deterred me. And I've tried and tried, and I've tried to get the bug back, and I've never felt it. Never have felt it like I did almost, now it's 13 years ago, during those first couple years, the golden age of the Magus videos days. And a lot of those videos are gone now, unless someone's archived them. If someone's archived all those Magus videos, please put them up. But regardless of that, I have done over the years made promises. Oh, Magus, reboot Magus, because come back and not fulfill those promises. Well, the last year, couple years, you know, we've had tumultuous events happen in our wide world. I've had a lot of personal changes. The best one has been meeting my fiance, and because of that, I have a much more positive outlook. I'll be honest, the original set of Magus videos was done because I was in a very unhappy marriage, and now I am happy again, and now I feel like after watching so many new video game makers, I feel inspired like I did so many years ago when I first watched Jedi. And I think the big one has been watching Jeremy Parrish's videos, which I absolutely fucking adore. I mean, that guy's channel is fucking amazing, and it is, I mean, I'm sorry, it's the best video game history channel, and there's good ones. There's Spida1, who, if you still watch my stuff, man, I don't know, I remember you sent me that DVD. I'm sorry I never got around to it, but your turbo views have always been fucking awesome. And there, you know, there's just a lot of better video game history channels that go into details in shorter videos and much more consistent releases than, say, the gaming historian, which he started to lose me at certain, you know, especially at the Tetris video, which many say is his greatest. I think, and I won't go into it because we'll talk about that in a moment, but I just won't go into it, but he just doesn't do it for me. If you enjoy him, fine. The other thing, I was sitting around here when I was looking at the, as I mentioned in the Portopia review, there wasn't very many good reviews of Portopia. Last year when I did P. Fury, there wasn't a lot of reviews of that, or Darius Gaiden, or anything like that. So, here's what's going to happen to the channel. And you can call me bullshit or what, but I can prove you wrong that this is not like last time, because I really do feel like making videos. And a lot of that comes also from hanging out in the Discord. Now, I haven't been on the Discord often. There has been some, we'll say, personal health issues that have held me back with, you know, people around me. But at this time, in the Discord, make sure you check it out. We got a fucking kick-ass community. Not committee, community. We'll have to talk about committees here in a little bit, but I'm getting ahead of myself. And I think guys like Darkscream and Matt Wheaton and Major Montana, those guys, and then new friends I've made over the years like MST3K Tom and his girlfriend Mishka Mink, and others that regularly, and my son, who is also in the Discord and who also watches videos, they all have helped inspire me to get that bug back, along with the Jeremy Parrish videos. And the key thing is, how can I stand out? Well, I'm going to make this channel focus on retro games, retro arcade games, visual novels, JRPGs, retro stuff. But I'm going to try to stay away from stuff that has been covered or find a new twist on it. For example, I'm not going to do, as much as Final Fantasy VI is one of my favorite fucking games of all time, I don't think I'll be covering it in a review, because how many times have that been done? But doing something like Portopia, which I think needs more attention and doesn't, quite frankly, have good reviews. I'm sorry, but the reviews out there are not good of it. And it just, like I said in the video, that helped inspire me. So how am I going to rectify this and keep my word? Well, number one, I've made several videos ahead of time. And there's going to be a release schedule. So what is this release schedule, you ask? Well, there will be at least 2 videos a week. And I'll go back to why at least. There will be 2 videos. One, now this is not showing at the time I have planned, but it is coming out on a Tuesday. So there will be a video every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. No, 1 p.m. No, 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, and on Fridays at 1 o'clock Mountain Standard Time. So every Friday and every Tuesday. So make sure you guys hit the alert button. I don't want to sound like some fucking YouTuber shrill there saying subscribe. You know, I've never liked saying that. If you like my shit, just subscribe. But make sure if you really want to follow me, hit the alert button. I will have another video out Friday, and I will have one out Tuesday. The next 2 videos will be a Magus rant on shitty Atari 2600 box art. Bizarre Atari 2600 box art. And then the video after that will be a review of the recently released Monster World remake. Another reason I want to do this channel was inspired by E3 too. What happened during E3 was I was watching, I watched the Microsoft one for whatever reason. And boy, you know, like, I watched the IGN guys and they were just like, woo, let's review all these great games. I'm sorry, but none of those games really interested me, that Microsoft show. It felt like dead. If you like those type of games, cool, but I just don't feel anything for Battlefield 2042. I don't feel anything for that new game from the guys who made Dishonored. I don't even remember, read something about vampires. I don't feel anything. I felt completely empty from those games. But when I watched Nintendo, and then I watched even the Nintendo Japanese Direct, I was more excited that we were getting cave games than for Battlefield 2042. I'm more excited for Mario Golf. Nintendo just has that great spirit. I'm a Nintendo fanfuck, so, you know, just sue me for that. But I also love a lot of other games, and I love the fact that the Switch is a pure retro device. Almost, not pure, but it has a lot of retro stuff on top of the NES Online and the arcade archives and all of that stuff. And those are subjects I would like to talk about. Particularly, I will be doing a video following the Monster World, will be on my opinions on Hamster's Arcade Archives. And then the next video will be a review of Arabian Magic, a beat-em-up from Taito. And after that, Friday, Tuesday. And then there'll be maybe a random stream or a random thing. The one thing this channel won't be, with one exception, we'll talk about that, and you guys know where I'm going to go with this. There will be no, I called review shitty and stuff, but there will be no videos directly dedicated to attacking someone. Maybe rebuttaling them, and I'm harsh, you all know that. But no videos directly attacking a channel, except for one exception. And I am not finished with Alex, and I know that's one thing I've promised throughout the years. When will I do this video, if I ever do? Well, with what I have going on right now in terms of service for this channel, the fact remains is, how can I put it? The fact remains is, I don't want to just come back out of nowhere, because last winter was supposed to be what I'm intending it for it to be now. But due to the editing software issues and things like that, I couldn't do it. But I don't want to come out straight doing out of nowhere a video on that piece of shit Alex and make that, oh, that's all my channel's going to be about. No, I want you guys to watch the stuff that, going back to my roots, and I'll even talk about some old anime. You know what? I watch Megazone 23. Anyone want to hear me talk about Megazone 23? We'll even do that. But I didn't want to come out of the gate and talk about Alex. So we'll let a few months pass, because speaking of videos done, that video's fucking done. I'm just waiting when to release it. Maybe September. So with that bit of a cliffhanger, I'll see you guys Friday. And with that, guys, Magus out.